Hey there. So, what I want to talk to you about today is the role that consequences play in helping your kid change their behavior. They definitely have their place, but I do find that most parents overuse consequences or kind of do them in the wrong order. So, here's what I'm going to suggest instead. And I'm going to suggest that the consequences come at the end of a longer repair process that I'm going to teach you how to do today. But first, let me tell you a little bit of the reason why I recommend this approach. When we jump right to consequences, you've done something wrong, and I'm going to give you a punishment for that consequence, for that behavior. A kid will often internalize that there's something wrong with them, that the mistake that they've made in their outburst or their behavior, whatnot, really is a character default. And that kind of builds then on a belief about self and one's own capacity to experience uncomfortable situations. So I think as an adult, we can all kind of reflect on our own experience of childhood and see how that has influenced some of the areas where we get hung up in our own life, um, some of the risks that we're unwilling to take, or we feel incapable, or some of the barriers we have in relationships. So instead, we have this wonderful opportunity when a kid makes a mistake to help them see that as an opportunity to learn more about themselves and the world that they live in. So then what we're doing is we're increasing their capacity to experience uncomfortable situations, and we're increasing their ability to make choices in those situations as they get to know themselves in a safe, warm, responsive relationship with an adult who is on their side and who really believes in them. So let me tell you what this looks like in action. So a kid has a problematic behavior. They've hit somebody, they've shouted, "I hate you," they've slammed their door, they've torn all the clothes out of their closet, whatever it is. First, we're going to see that behavior as their nervous system has moved into protection mode. During that phase of protection mode, they are not able to access the thinking parts of their brain. It's offline. So we know that anything that we say to them is going to get stored as a physical experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our presencing skills to be connected, to stay present with the kid, but we're not going to give them a lot of input other than helping, setting the appropriate boundaries, helping them maintain safety. If you want more suggestions on that, I'm going to link an article below on what that looks like. But let's move on to the repair process. So there's been the behavior, you've stayed connected, you've stayed neutral, didn't get sucked in. Allow the kid's nervous system to settle. Help him move back into a state of calm. This may feel counterintuitive because you may think, am I rewarding the negative behavior? No, you are not. What you're doing is you're saying, I see that you are having trouble managing things right now. I'm going to lend you my calm. I'm going to lend you my decision-making skills so that we can move through this. And I promise you, we're going to come back to what to do afterward. But you're going to help move them through. That looks like a playful moment. That looks like offering a laugh. That looks like offering a glass of water. All different ways that we can move through that. And again, I'll talk more about that in another video. So now everybody's calm. It may even be several hours later. We're going to go through what I call a repair process. And this is based in the restorative justice movement. You can find tons of info on this on the internet. But in its simplest form, what you're going to do is you're going to help the kid identify what was happening in the moment. So what was the physical sensation? What was the feeling? What was the event that happened that kind of sparked this outburst? It's okay if they get it different than how you observed it. What we're doing is we're starting training that skill of reflection. So have them reflect on what was happening. What were they feeling in their body? It's okay if it was a simple I was uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be a I was sad, I was angry emotion. It could just be a discomfort. How did they react? How do you think the other person experienced that situation? What were they comfortable or uncomfortable? Did they have a feeling? See if you can help them start to develop that insight into the other person. It's okay if they don't observe it the same way you do. What we're doing is we're starting teaching the skill. And then we're going to end with, this is the part that we call like the consequence, is there a repair that needs to be made that we can, so that we can come back together in the relationships that we want to have. So if you tore up your clothes all out of the closet, would cleaning them up make sense? Yeah, it would make sense. So let's make sure we do that. Do you want to do that together? Do you want to do that separate? If you shouted, I hate you at somebody, do you need to go back and give them, let them know you actually do want to be connected to them by with a hug or with a, telling them a joke or something? Do you need to make some acknowledgement? Do you need to see if you hit somebody, are they hurt? Do you need to go back and offer something that feels good now? Some support. So what you're doing is you're teaching your kid that it's okay to miss the mark sometimes. And it's okay to then take a moment to say like, ugh, I did not feel good. I don't really love the way that I acted. And I actually have the power to go back and make a connection with the person who I may have harmed or to fix something that I broke. Now, of course, this is a nuanced process and there are all different angles to look at this, but the basic core skills are we're not going to jump right to a consequence. We're going to actually rely on helping a child regulate their nervous system and then guiding them through a process of reflection and learning from what happened. So if you want more support with this, I've created a choice board that is going to take you through each one of these steps, and it relies mostly on pictures, not too many words, because a lot of kids I work with, like, accessing language is hard and finding words to talk about these things. So it has a lot of picture prompts on it. So I'll link that below. And also, if your family's struggling with how to do this, or if you've got a kiddo who is really dysregulated all the time, they're acting out a lot, that's a good time to talk with your healthcare provider or with a therapist and get some more guidance on this and see if there's other layers of need that are presenting themselves. All right, let me know how this works out for you. I'd love to hear what you would add, what works well for you in this process, and let me know if there's any questions you have. All right, take care. Enjoy.